Coming up on Our World, A Day in Court, the 22-year-old accused of killing 5 people at a Colorado nightclub appears in court. We'll tell you what happened in the courtroom. And making a difference, how one organisation gives non-profits more than a place and a space, allowing the trans community to learn, live and love. And in short supply, why doctors are concerned as some of the most common antibiotics used to fight infections run low. Welcome to Our World, I'm Stephen Walker. The Club Q shooting suspect Anderson Aldrich made a first appearance in Colorado Springs District Court Wednesday. Aldrich sat slumped in a chair in an orange jumpsuit. Judge Charlotte Akeny asked Aldrich questions about rights, but Aldrich was not very talkative.
Could the defendant please state his name? Anderson Aldrich, did you watch the video concerning your constitutional rights in this case?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about those rights?
No.
The court finds that Anderson Aldrich appears in custody for video advisement today with counsel.
Judge Akeny ruled that Aldrich remained held without bond following their first court appearance. The next court hearing is set for December 6th, but that could change based on Aldrich's defense attorney's availability. 5 people were killed in the rampage. The Colorado Hearing Fund has been activated in response to Club Q tragedy. Donations help support the survivors and families of this tragedy. For more information or to make a donation, go to coloradohealingfund.org. Click on the Support Colorado Healing Fund button. Time to shine the spotlight on an organisation that is making a difference. I spoke with the team at Flux, a national division of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Their aim is to raise the profile of trans and non-binary community, while offering safe spaces for innovation and so much more. I'd like to welcome Queen Victoria Ortega, International President of Flux and Chief Visionary Officer at the Connie Norman Transgender Empowerment Center, Gris Paloma Iris, International Media Director at Flux and Media Director for the Connie Norman Transgender Empowerment Center, and Juliana Joe, actress, host of the Q Agenda and Out 100 honoree. A big thank you to each of you for joining me here today. Now, first up, what's been going on at the Connie Norman Transgender Empowerment Center? I've heard you've been having power lunches, self-defense classes.
Yeah, so thank you again for having us. At the Connie Norman Trans Empowerment Center is just that. It's hard for people to wrap their head around. We are really focused on empowering the community and looking at skills. And one of the things that we really are focused on, and in partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery, we had a media power brunch just on November 12th to kick off Trans Awareness Week. For those who are watching that don't know, it is Transgender Awareness Month, super important month. And, you know, a lot of events are happening, but one of the things that we wanted to focus on is the power of storytelling and the power of us telling our own stories as trans people. Part of that included us discussing people above the line, writers, producers, directors, and people below the line, you know, people who are gripping, electricians, DITs. So it was super important to be able to bring that to our community so they know how to interface and be part of, because we are already part of the entertainment industry. So it was a great masterclass, I would say, as well as just raising the possibility of really dreaming of how we could continue down the path of advancement for our community. So that is what's been going on, is we've been empowering our people.
Juliana, why is it so important to have these trans stories, and how do you think it will affect people outside the trans community?
I mean, it all comes down to representation. And I know we say this all the time, representation matters. And it is because it really does. And especially for a community like the trans community, you know, the reality is that, you know, most people in this country have never met a trans person, let alone knows one personally. So how many of society, how much of society forms their opinions about a community of people they don't know is through media, through what they see on TV. And for years, that representation has either been completely absent or not great representation. You know, we've seen the stories of trans people just being shown as just painted in very negative light and not ever given chances to show our humanity, to show that we are deserving of love and success.
Paloma, just coming to you, could you tell me a little bit about your story and how the Connie Norman Centre helped you?
Yes, I found the Connie Norman Center as an effect of finding Flux. I originally came to a chapter meeting for the organization that is Flux, division of AIDS Healthcare Foundation dedicated to the trans and non-binary community. It was after attending the first Flux event that I was aware of on Halloween of last year. So it's been a full year. And since coming to the chapter meetings, involving myself more with the organizers and the board members, and eventually becoming a board member myself as the media director for Flux, I was able to earn the position of working here as the media director. Queen Victoria extended that position, that role to myself, and working here, having the consistency of working in the studio that Queen Victoria mentioned earlier, has provided me a wealth of networks. Like, being able to see trans and non-binary people on a daily basis has really changed my own understanding of the community in a way that I wasn't previously aware of. I am so grateful for the Connie
But
Norman.
it sounds like a success story, and the reason someone like you deserve these chances. So, you know, so congratulations all around. There's a success story right there. And before we go, if you had to give a message to anyone out there still struggling to find representation or visibility, what would you say to them?
I would say that if you are struggling to find it, be it. We live in a wonderful age where we have access to social media. Like Juliana was mentioning, holding people accountable is sort of an anomalous question. How do we do that? Like, social media can be a double-edged sword, but at the same time, we have the ability to be the representation that we want to see. If we don't see a story portrayed or shown online on TV and movies, we have that capability now in 2022 to post our own stories, our own selves, and be that representation. So that's what I would say.
I mean, I've got pride within me. I'm so proud that you guys are doing what you do. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for joining me today. The return to normalcy post-pandemic is leading to a rebound of both viral and bacterial infections that dipped over the past few years. With the uptick in illnesses comes a demand for treatments, but pharmacies are struggling to keep some key medications on the shelves. Chris Wynn explains what's behind the shortage.
This year's respiratory virus season is hitting early and hard.
It's a pretty harsh, I'll call it harsh winter in healthcare for us because the children are highly impacted by these viruses,
leading to high demand for medications such as the antiviral Tamiflu and albuterol inhalers. But pharmacies are also seeing short supply of first-line antibiotics amoxicillin and augmentin, used to treat common childhood ailments like ear infections and sore throats.
Primary care physicians are really overwhelmed with the amount of prescriptions that they're using to treat our children.
The cause behind the problem is multifaceted. Pharmaceutical companies don't keep stock of medications. Instead, drugs are manufactured based on orders from earlier in the year, which did not forecast a heavy respiratory illness season. Those infected with viruses can become more vulnerable to the secondary bacterial infections, which may add to the demand. But health experts say if the pharmacy is out of the preferred medicine, an alternative may be prescribed instead.
Work with the pharmacist there or with their prescriber to find another pharmacy that might have the drug in stock. There's also several other options that can be used as far as antibiotics go.
Doctors also recommend staying on top of hygiene, vaccinations, and well-check visits.
It's really important that we maintain the health so that way the kids can live and continue to grow stronger each and every day.
I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Health experts also say to have your child tested to find out whether symptoms are coming from a bacterial or viral infection. That will help ensure effective treatment for their illness. Thank you for joining us for Our World. The Advocate channel is streaming now on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV and Android TV. You can also download our app on your Android and Apple devices and watch anytime at advocatechannel.com.